of Halloween with all kinds of chills and thrills and spookiness in college and pro ball. I am Vegas Rosie here with you for week number 5 for the NFL and week number 6 for college football. Hello, Craig. Good to see you tonight. Let me get a few things done. I am Vegas Rosie, the one, the only, the original transgender sports handicapper here tonight. Glad to be with you guys to talk about the week that was. A few things to rant about, a few things to cover here that I think need to be said in light of, hey, Queenstown, how you doing? In light of a very weird week in college football. As I said, I don't know too much, but I'm learning each time I watch. Thank you very much. I want you to learn to make money with me or just have fun and not lose a shitload of money. How about that? So welcome aboard, everybody. As I said before, Sandy, good to see you, Queenstown kid. I am YouTube's only transgender sports analyst and handicapper here. Always breaking new ground on the channel. And if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button, the bell for all notifications. First of all, Rosie, you big mouth, how did you do this week? Won 5, lost 6, and had 1 push. How you doing, Patty Whack? Never seen you here before, but welcome to the chat. First time in the chat tonight. 5 wins, 6 losses, and 1 push. I did have TCU -7, and wouldn't you know, TCU won by 7. I also had TCU and Kansas, I believe, yeah, at under 60, and it came in right at 60 there. It was kind of brutal, but what are you gonna do? So what game? Well, let's just go on to it. SMU and UCF. I thought that was a easy win. SMU and UCF. That was a winner for us. The under total in that. Auburn versus Georgia. That was a loser. Well, because Robbie Ashford just sucks as quarterback for Auburn. I don't know, the guy's running with the damn ball and he drops it. He's got a clear path ahead of him to the end zone and he drops the fucking ball. Go figure. Duke finally let me down, and I'm going to rant a little bit about that game in a while because it has the rules about overtime, which I think really suck when it comes to college football. James Madison continued to do beautiful with me. They're finally ranked. James Madison is ranked number 18th. Why? Because they just keep winning. That's why. And they keep winning by a wide margin, and they're doing great. And I am happy as can be to be along for the ride. Purdue, Maryland, we had the 60. Under 60 on that, and it just came in barely over that at the end. Tennessee, I think Tennessee is the number 1 team in the nation, in my opinion. And I think we're going to see the real litmus test come up, and I think we're going to see some real respect coming up over the next few weeks. And I think of all the teams in the SEC, that Georgia and the others in Alabama fear facing, it's Tennessee is the one that they're going to fear facing. In my opinion, they're going to give them a hell of a game. We got Western and Kentucky and University of Texas at San Antonio. We had the under on that, which won. Everybody's like, oh, it's going to be a huge shootout. It came in at 59 points or something. It was at like 70 and a half or some craziness. Okay. How you doing, Flan? Iowa versus Illinois. We lost on that. Man, what a boring fucking game. What was it? 9-6 or something? Really? I mean, what was I thinking? I thought maybe Illinois would be explosive on Iowa and stuff. We'll get to this stuff later. Lost on the Washington State. They played a good game, but the USC beat them. So it came out to 1-5, lost 6, and 1 push. So when you take the 6, it's 6 on last 5. 29, and you add the 29 and 18 on the season so far, which isn't too bad. And shout out to my Ravens tonight for getting it done in Baltimore, as usual, in a Justin Tucker field goal against a very good, very talented Cincinnati Bengals squad there. So congratulations to them at home. They've had a lot of games at home. A lot of games at home. And you know what? It's going to be time to get on the road. And I happen to think that the Ravens are a better performer on the road than they are at home. I don't know why, but it seems to be the case. So there is the helmet there, courtesy of Mr. Z. So congratulations to the Ravens tonight. Before we get down to real business here, thank you for being here. Make sure to hit that thumbs up button, and let's rant a little. Let's talk about something good on the week. The NFL is revising once again the concussion protocol for atasia now. And atasia means if there's any, thank you GTB, if there's any indication that this player that's been concussed or hit hard, if he seems to have any kind of balance issue, the slightest little bit of stumbling, backpedaling, oh, it was my back, it wasn't my bullshit, they don't even take a chance anymore. The new protocol says, when in doubt, pull them out of the game. And I agree with that protocol. Like I said, that optic of Tua on the ground for Miami, locked up with his hands in the sky, was one of the scariest things in the many 50 years I've been watching football. It was one of the scariest things that I had ever seen. And no game is worth risking a lifetime of pain, misery, potential paralysis. Patty whack, it was scary as hell. And then should he have been back that soon? I don't think so. Okay, so he had to sit out this week, and I don't know. I mean, we've had a neurosurgeon come out and say, you know what, Tua, it's time to end your career, dude. I'm not Tua. I'm not the doctor. I'm not Tua's family. But I do know that there's only so many times you're going to be able to take the hits and things like that and still bounce back and be able to play. I mean, look at what happened to Ali over the long term of being hit in the head. And this guy floated like a butterfly, stunned like a bee. I know you're going to say, Rosie, this is a big boys game. Grab your nuts. Get out there and play. No, I want to tell you, the players are better conditioned. The speed of the game is higher. The intensity of the hitting is more dramatic these days. It's a much more up-tempo game. And I think that plays and defensive blitzing and things like that is much more designed. The end coming in like that. And I mean, it can just be super, super damaging to be blindsided and all that. Someone said, well, Rosie, you don't want the quarterback to get hit. Well, I say, if you're in the pocket, you can stand there all day, find a target and throw it. So it's all even. Everybody stands there in the pocket and throws. The minute you leave the pocket, the second you leave the pocket, then it's fair game. Okay, but if everybody's in the pocket, it's all equal. But if you take off on foot and you choose to scramble and run, well, then you become an open target, and no better, no worse than a running back. But I think grab your nuts. I think the NFL has taken steps, though, over the last couple of years to recognize that long term, week in and week out, football can be very damaging to the human body. It's more intense now. Well, the players are better conditioned. They're bigger. The overall weight training. I mean, I grew up in the era of the Baltimore Colts and Artie Donovan and Gino Marchetti and Alan Amici. These guys went to Westminster College for training camp in the fall. Man, I mean, their biggest exercise was hiking some beer. I mean, it's a different thing now. It's a whole different animal, the athleticism and the intensity that these people bring to the games. Hey, James, how you doing? I want to rant on pass calling too. I did see the Georgia Auburn game. I felt pretty secure having Auburn in 29 and a half points. Yeah, what was I thinking, right? In that game. And I'm just thinking why would you let Robbie Ashford continue to make a fool of himself in that game? And you could see how paying this quarterback for Auburn was in that game. Nobody likes to go out there on the field and feel like they're a fool. All right. And you could tell that this kid's psyche was damaged to the point where you couldn't tell the kid anymore, grab your nuts, get out there and play ball. Because, well, you take a great Georgia defense and you take just an inability to run the ball, and you've got to put the ball in the air. And it's all kinds of problems, and it's ridiculous. Okay, take care, Patty. It just is absolutely ridiculous that you wouldn't get. Now, I know the other quarterback is injured. Get somebody else in there. Just the fact of bringing another quarterback in is somebody that they might not even have studied it intensely on the Georgia side, and you can make a go of it, right? You may be able to get something going. How many times recently have we saw second stringers coming? We saw the second stringer come in for Kansas when Daniels was they rang his bell in the second quarter. This kid came in and what, threw for 3 touchdowns or something? Bean or whatever the hell his name is. Came in off the bench, did the job. We've seen a few backups come in. Wasn't Stetson Bennett a backup? Right. We saw the job he did. I don't like this kid. 24 years old. What the hell are you doing in the NCAA, man? Hey, Brad, are you going to be 30 years old out there doing it? I don't know, right? The other boneheaded play, and I've got Mr. Alabama himself here, Brad Silverdog, and you know I love the Tide. Roll Tide, roll. But I'll tell you, I don't know what the hell Jimbo was thinking for Texas A&M on that at 8 seconds left on the clock. And I had, what kind of flashback? I had flashbacks to the Seattle Seahawks Super Bowl against the New England Patriots. When Seattle had the greatest running back on planet Earth, Marshawn Lynch, a proud product of Cal, comes on the field, and I'm thinking to myself, shit, Marshawn's going to be doing it up tonight in downtown Seattle, partying with the girls. And here goes, what's his name? Drops back in the pocket. Russell Wilson, and just throws the ball away. Bad play. Hey, Ward, by the way, the Ravens won tonight, 19-17, just in case you didn't see that tonight. Throws the ball, interception. I'm thinking Texas A&M, run a Packers sweep or something. Do something really cool. Misdirect in the right, have the lone guy run around the left side. You only have to deal with the safety or something back there and do it up. You're not going to get many chances to beat a team like Alabama. They come so few and far between. And now Alabama goes on more psyched up. But I'm telling you, watch out for the Tennessee game coming up, because Tennessee's the real deal. And they proved that because the Vegas bookmakers had Tennessee 2.5-point favorite. And they won by like 20 points or something like that and going away. This is a good team. Hendon Hooker's the real deal. Chunky's a good coach out there for them. I'm going to tell you, these guys are getting it done. And Brad, if I had to pick a dark horse on running down Bama or Georgia, Tennessee would kind of be my choice. And I know they're thinking about that. The other team that's playing exceptionally well, has no lumpiness in their game, is TCU. And when I saw TCU taking on Kansas in Kansas there in Lawrence, Kansas. Yeah, there's a little bit of lumpiness in the game, but they're so well coached and they're so well strategized. And you never get the sense that this team ever hits the panic button. And it's a team that I'm going to continue to back. Now, I only got a push on the -7. I thought that they would go under with Kansas. I had under 60 or something. Came in at 62 or something like that. Bama still has work to do. Team will be a good test, yeah. I mean, certainly they're the cock of the walk. Okay? You have to always say they're always going to be there. And when you go into Alabama to play, you best bring your A game with you. That's all I got to say, because that's Nick Saban gets it done. But I think Tennessee's the team that could keep this within 7 points or less this game. So hats off to Texas A&M. They let you down at the end, man, with a bonehead play call of a pass. It wasn't even in the end zone. It was on the right side of the pylon going down. What the hell's that? Even the receiver out there, I don't know, he's the end or whatever they always, he's looking around like, fuck, did we get a redo on this thing? Could I talk to the coach a minute? Shit. I was like, are you kidding me? So a lot of times it's not the players. A lot of times it's the coaching and the decisions that are made on the sideline, like Harbaugh. Coach Harbaugh for the Baltimore Ravens, right? This he must be from a gambling family. Last year, 3 or 4 times we're within one point of a win or something. And instead of going, we're within a point of a tie. And time after time, he goes for the win, like 3 times in a row and loses. And he does the same shit last week. Dude, go for the tie and then play the game. All right, let's rant. Yeah, Fisher cracks me up. Let's talk about something else, too. These stupid NCAA rules for overtime. Georgia Tech played really, really well. Okay, really well. Good. They're really rounding. Their power rating really went up the last couple weeks. Duke has a sophomore quarterback, grabs his nuts this year, and they're doing great. Okay, he went in there. Hey, EJ. Last 8 seconds, fire into the end zone. Duke ties up the game. Now, okay, maybe they should have gone for the conversion. Done the hardball. Maybe they get it, maybe they don't. But if they don't get it, the game's over. They decide to just kick the extra point. It's 20-20. All right, take care, Brad. Thanks for stopping me. It's 20-20. Yeah, Mr. Z gave this to me. It's 20-20. And now we're going into overtime, and we have these ridiculous rules of starting on the 20-yard line or whatever. Look, man, it sucks. Put 15 minutes on the clock. Let the 2 teams play. 2 timeouts for this overtime period. Okay? Let them play. If they don't resolve it after 15 minutes, put another period on. Okay, and another one. It's, oh no, but one time they played 7 overtime. How often does that happen? These stupid rules deprive Duke of a chance to, well, it blew my bet, and it deprived Duke of a chance to win the game. Now, I know the rules are supposed to be fair for all, but let the guys play for 15 minutes. If you took a vote of everybody in the stands, everybody on the sidelines, except maybe the referees, they'd all be like, yeah, let's play a period. Let's do it up. Okay, that's the way to do it. And when time runs out, you do your strategy, the 1 minute to go, 30 seconds, whatever, you do it. There's my other rant for the night. Now, let's talk about things. Let's talk about another team here. Berner said NFL football is scripted. I don't waste my time. NFL football is tough because of parity. Berner, look at the scores this year. Look at the point totals this year. 14-7. Tonight, what do we have? 19-17. I mean, today I'm watching the 49ers, 34-19. It's like a damn blowout these days. The parity is just absolutely amazing in the NFL. And I don't think that you can get an edge on it. We'll talk about some of the games that happened this week. Hey, how you doing, Julie? But parity has hit the NFL. That's why I don't think that you can really get an edge in the NFL, but you can in college football because they're so all over the map in terms of how much effort the books can put in. How much effort Pinnacle and Crisp can put into putting these lines together offshore first. Okay. To wit, look at the way James Madison has come out of nowhere and no attention to be ranked in the top 20 now. Number 20. I'm going to continue to play James Madison because there's something about the way that Cignetti coaches that's just tremendous. 100% focus, brilliant, sharp mind, able to adjust on the fly. Like, let's face it, I lost when App State played James Madison. I'm cheering App State's up 28-3 at halftime. I'm cashed my bet, right? He goes in and he adjusts the whole team, and James Madison comes out and wins the game. Do you know how few coaches, and I've been watching football over 55 years. Do you know how many coaches have the ability to go into a locker room in halftime and totally change the direction and complexion of the game? Like in college football, a handful. Cignetti's that kind of guy that can do that adjustment. TCU coach is the kind of guy that can do that adjustment. Notice those two programs. There's no what I call lumpiness. There's no up and down like, oh, this was a really bad quarter or this was, right? Well, that's okay, GTB. There's just no, their programs are just like this. Their recruiting is going to be a dream. And their performance is excellent. Does that mean that they could beat any team in the country? Well, I'd like to see TCU matched up with, right? I'd like to see TCU have a go at Ohio State. I think that they could give them a good run. I think James Madison could give them a good run. Because the individual components may not be the best, but the sum, that extra panache of a team really, really works well for them. Let's start with the NFL tonight. We saw the Ravens on a last-second field goal by never misses Tucker, Justin Tucker. Man, how many field goals are people missing in college and high school these days? How many extra points are being missed? Hey, Lee, how are you? What the hell's going on? Have you guys seen how many, college guys can't kick an extra point? Some college guys can nail a 55-yarder, and then the next time they can't hit an extra point. I mean, I don't understand. NFL today, right? The Panthers come out, they can't hit the extra point. And I mean, I always thought that shit was automatic. Okay, let's look at the NFL today and get down on this. Cowboys and the Rams. I told you last week I thought the Cowboys, get rid of Dak and the little pinky finger or whatever, and the Cowboys are a better team. Okay, and they're showing it. Why aren't the Rams doing this this year? Well, number one, it's hard to repeat as a Super Bowl champion. How you doing, Thomas? And number two, and this is more important, some key components are out of that lineup that were there last year. And again, these parts that go together, take out one or two of them and the whole complexion of the team can change. Now, I'm not saying the Rams can't step up. They started shitty last year, and they ended up winning the Super Bowl. Okay. But what I'm saying is the Cowboys are the real deal because they got a great defense. And I've always contended, people, that the offense puts the asses in the seat, but the defense is what's going to get you in the Super Bowl. And the Ravens and Baltimore, through their history, has proven that. Teams that had crappy, Flacco at that time, the defense could get points for you through turnovers and stuff like that. Thank you, Thomas. Yeah, we'll get to the Vikings. I've told Morning Dove from Minnesota, calm down. He's freaking out about, the Vikings. Okay, so Cowboys, they look like a team of destiny this year. Let me get these scores up here. Get these refreshed here. Hold on a second, guys. Gotta get my little dingy up here. We had the Colts and the Broncos. I don't think the Broncos. I would tell Russell Wilson, grab your balls and get out there and play football. But you lose a step over time. It's not the same dynamic as when you were with the Seahawks or whatever. Okay, it's hard to adjust to a new environment, new stadium, new expectations. Right? And you just don't have the step like you used to have. There's no shame in the game, right? I thought that last week with Tom Brady. He's like missed a step or two here, right? You kind of slowed down. The grass turf is all this. Fuck! Don't even get me. That'll be a rant for next week. This sports turf. Don't get me started on it. You got guys making $6 million a year. They're being carted off because of the fucking sports turf. I mean, it's insane. I mean, in the day, it was just grass, and if it was dirt when the circus left town, or it's baseball, right? Too bad, man. You get out there and throw the dirt up in the guy's face when you're going off the line, right? Kick up. All right. All right, we didn't have guys going down because of the ground. Okay, yeah, who's on drugs and who isn't? Giants and Packers. Well, I just don't, and don't hate me, Thomas. Aaron Rodgers can still pull a rabbit out of his ass, but Aaron Rodgers has a few seasons under his belt. Being consistently good every year is difficult. And to be a consistently great quarterback, you need to always have a consistently good offensive line around you. You need to seal those edges when the edge rushers come in and stuff like that. Okay. For years, Rodgers has had the luxury of almost being a captain up in the bow, being able to look at, take a ton of time, see a guy getting open down there, wing it. It's not the same these days. Okay. It's harder. Your vision is not the same. Your thought process is slowed down. Your footwork becomes slower. And he's not the kind of quarterback that's going to tuck the ball and go. Well, Flan, we don't know what ideally the NFL would love to expand into Canada, right? In my opinion. But I think they're just trying to turn people onto the game so that they can create another league that has the potential for cross-Atlantic play. All right. Would it work? Yeah. Do they want these teams in the NFL in expansion? No. They want to develop a parallel league. The EFL, the European Football League, or whatever. And then have truly start to develop a Super Bowl of Super Bowls. Okay, that's how they're thinking. They don't want to expand the NFL. They want to create just a totally new division and then have teams fly back and create. Yeah, it's big bucks, man. They're turning out in droves. Shit, they're buying merch like there's no tomorrow over in England and places like that. They're making a fortune. Look, Goodell is not stupid. He's not hired because he's some football slob, right? Hiking up his drawers with a bad belt and all that stuff. This guy's paid to give lip service to injury. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's terrible what happened. Good night, sugarcane. He's paid to make money and to make these teams more valuable for the owners. Has he succeeded? Mightily. But he hears the NCAA footsteps behind him. Now we have football sometimes Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, Monday night. Man, I'm fucking fatigued. But as long as they keep putting the games on TV and they blast away all the other competition, you're going to have people on there promoting and pushing football, whether it's on a college level or pro level. And it's the same thing with basketball coming up. We have all these networks. You can catch almost any college game now. The 70 some games on the weekend. You can see them. You can see them all. So to me, it's going to always be about the money, right? Dallas Cowboys fly to London, right, to play the London Terrors or whatever, right? I mean, there's a pack of 80,000 people. Our soccer's more in it. Yeah, soccer's huge over there, what they call football. But have they turned their nose up at the NFL product that's there? It's a little inconvenient for us that want to drink while we watch football, and it's fucking 9 a.m. in the morning. Here, they're eggs and bacon. Are we going to pop a beer? We're creating millions of new alcoholics here at the morning brew with the football. But I digress, okay? Because you're going to get it around the clock. You're going to have to watch these games in Tokyo, Thomas, and Hong Kong and Beijing, right? And Dubai. The Dubai Doobie Doobie Doos are playing. I love this ranting night here. That's why they're doing it, because of money. The more people that start to follow football, and remember, it wasn't until 1958 when the greatest game ever played, the Baltimore Colts, in Yankee Stadium, playing Gifford and the New York Giants, the first sudden death overtime. Nobody was ever really that concerned about football before, but over 30 million people in America for the first time ever switched on and saw something they'd never seen before. An exciting, icy field with people slipping around, with Johnny U, Alan the Horse, and Michi taking the ball in from the 1 yard line in the sudden death overtime. Man, they were hooked. Like, this shit is, how long's this been going on? And all of a sudden, after that game, the NFL exploded. Was it the greatest football game ever played? No. But it was the greatest game in terms of igniting the spark that blew up the NFL to what it is today. The amazing, amazing franchises that in total worth of the is of all the organizations is probably $45 billion or something like that. It's tremendous value. Money will always make the world go round, and people need the diversion of sports because sports is not political. Why do people turn to watch football games? And let's hit that thumbs up button tonight. They're turning to watch football because they're not going to get a dose of politics. They might get a dose of bad coaching. They might get a bad hot dog at the stadium. They might drink a few too many beers at home and eat a few too many wings and have a few too many slices of pizza. But they know for that 2.5 hours or 10 hours of a college football game that they're not going to have to hear any bullshit. What's up, Robbie? How you doing? They can totally focus on just having fun. They can scream, they can rant, they can rave, they can tell them grab your nuts, go play football. And for a while, all the bullshit of Kim Jong-un, all the bullshit of missiles over Moscow and Washington, all that stuff, what's the fuck's Ukraine? Right? It's all suspended for a while. That's why, yeah, ring cowbell, that's why people love the diversion of sports. Because they don't have to sit there and argue with people about politics, okay? You can hate the Cowboys, a lot of people do. People in Cincinnati hate the Ravens tonight in Baltimore, sons of bitches. Kick the field goal. Right, Lamar, little son of a bitch, running around the field. We know. Okay, football is a tough game. It's not for guys in short pants. That's what I'm saying. So, that's my deal on the Packers. I don't know. You lose a step, still a very fine defense, and maybe the Giants are better than people gave them credit for. I've always had to reverse my thinking when I lose a bet and think, was my team, good night, Flan, was my team not good enough, or was the other team better than I thought? Jacksonville screwed me off 4 different, Jacksonville, Lions, what did I say about the Lions and the Patriots? Lions and Patriots. Patriots and Lions. Patriots are better than people thought. They're better coached. They're consistently well coached. I'm not a Patriots lover. Okay? I've seen some epic smash mouth football between the Ravens and the Patriots over the years. Right. But I will tell you this, good coaching, no matter how the product might be a little inferior on the field, can really carry the day sometimes. And Bill Belichick gets it done. He could probably have 11 goats out there on this side and still get the job done. I don't know. The guy's a prickly guy. I wouldn't want to drink a beer with him. I'd probably turn the glass this way and smash him in the head or something. But the Lions started like a house of fire, and now it's just the same thing year after year. Thank you, EJ. Huh? You tell me why certain franchises can't ever seem to get out of their way. Why is it that teams fold their tent so quickly and other teams don't? So I remember last year the Rams didn't get off to a good start, but they were there at the end. Big time. I don't know if the Lions are going to be able to grab their nuts and come out and play football, or whether they've just resigned themselves to a doom season. Chargers and Browns, wow, I was really surprised the Chargers pulled this out. Chubb is such a great running back, but it's proof that you can't be a one-dimensional team and win. And they gave up 30 points to the Chargers. So, two very good teams. The Chargers have started to pick themselves off the ground after some crazy-ass early season games, and they're rolling good. Texans and Jaguars. Ward. Jaguars really impressed me in the beginning of the year, like a house of fire. Very impressive. Defense, offense, first 3 quarters against the Eagles. They're doing good. And then the second they ran into that adversity, in that fourth quarter, it's almost like they just folded their tents and just decided that's it. For a minute there, we forgot that we were Jacksonville. Now we remember. We're not supposed to be good. I know, Diane, but your Rams started off bad last year and they ended good. But I'm just saying, I don't know what it is psychologically. It's the hardest time of the year. It's like the Ravens tonight. They lost two, they got out in front by 20 points or whatever, and then they folded up the last two games. They look like idiots. Run over by Buffalo and run over by Miami. I mean, in that stadium tonight, everybody's sitting there like, oh shit, here we go again. Bend over time in Baltimore. Right. Assume the position. Here we go again. No lube. That's right, EJ. No lube at all. Here it comes, Baltimore. Here comes the Bengals. Hear them roar. But tonight they found their nuts. They went out there at the end and they did what they had to do. Lamar Jackson marched them down the field. They kicked the field goal. And psychologically, because the Bengals are a great team, this is going to be an enormous psychological boost going forward on the road. And let me tell you, the Ravens are a better team on the road for some weird reason than they are at home. I'll go figure that one out, okay? So good on the Texans today. I didn't think the Texans, everybody's poo-pooing the Texans. I think they're starting to pull their shit together. Steelers and Bills. Bills, Eagles. Bills, Eagles. Bills, Eagles. Anybody sensing a Super Bowl matchup here? Just saying. Buffalo's a good team. Ask the Ravens. They pissed it away. But maybe tonight the Ravens defense started to stand up. Okay? Maybe. We still got a long way to go in this season. But I'm saying, surely the Bills are the cock of the walk. And they're only going to get better because they're going to bring more injured players back. And I'm sorry, Tomlinson. I don't know how much Pickett. I haven't even looked at the game today to know if Kenny Pickett was QB or whatever. But some guys, don't judge by the kid's first year. Some kids can rise to the level of the NFL and some top out at college. The speed, the mental capacity you need in pro ball it's a whole quantum leap from college. Right. Everybody agree with that? The brain power you need, the ability to have a backup plan in your mind, the ability to run with the ball if you need to. Okay? I think it's just because you were great in college doesn't mean you're going to be great. I mean, I wouldn't draft Stetson Bennett. Okay? That's just me. Okay? It's just, kid just looks fragile. I mean, when any kind of good defensive, really superior line comes in on that kid, it's cat and crunch time, in my opinion. Dolphins, Jets. Jets are going to be a wrecking machine, man. They're firing on all cylinders again. And without Tua, you can't expect too much of the Miami Dolphins. It is what it is, okay? Bears and Vikings, where is my Morning Dove from Minnesota? Let me tell you, Morning Dove, I told you, Vikings are going to continue to do pretty well this year. And they're rolling along. The Titans just barely got by the Commanders. That could have been upset alert today. Saints knocked off the Seahawks, the 49ers, and the Panthers. 49ers, Bills, Super Bowl. That's right. Sports is money. Time is money. Life is money. Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, they come back to maybe when a person's dead, they come back to life to play. And I play football. But that's it. Vikings. This is their year. Yeah, we got a long way to go, Lee. You know, a lot of people have written teams off. You know, like the Ravens are gone; they're smashed to pieces. They wrote off. Who knows? Miami may rise from. I don't know. You know, you got to keep an open eye. But I'm going to tell you this: the premier defense in the NFL today belongs to the San Francisco 49ers. And you have a quarterback in Jimmy Garoppolo who is better than average, can stand in the pocket, grab his nuts, stand there and throw the ball and deliver. Doesn't have to be a great quarterback. Look at what Flacco did with the 2012 Ravens Super Bowl, right? You don't have to be a great quarterback if you have an outstanding defense. Defense wins Super Bowls. That's right, Lee. Good for you. Defense wins Super Bowls. All right, so take heart if you're in San Francisco. The best thing that happened, this kid got knocked out in first or second game, and Jimmy's in there. He's doing it up. In Carolina, he's got a great running back. He's got an outstanding defense there. Eagles and Cardinals. I kind of predicted this one on Wednesday night. Cardinals, they've had a few tough beats this year, but they're going to still be a pretty solid football game. Are they playoff bound? I doubt it. Are they going to ruffle some feathers amongst some other teams? They are. Okay. But I'm telling you, the Eagles got it done again today. They're undefeated on the season, and every week they're gaining confidence, which makes them more prone to the dipsity doodle. You know, hey, we're going to Washington and playing the Commanders or something, right? No, fuck them, right? And then all of a sudden you're freaking out because you're down by 3 points with 30 seconds left to go, and you're on your own 5-yard line or something. Cowboys, Rams, we talked about that. The Ravens did it up again. They find themselves at the top of the AFC Central now. Let's go on to a little bit about college football, because to me, college football is so much more fun, so much more lucrative than pro ball. We talked about the Alabama Texas A&M game. Do 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 do. Ooh, ooh. Let me get my good preferred one on. Okay, here we doodle. SMU and UCF, I had that game to go under there. Nebraska actually won. Nebraska actually won a game. I really thought Rutgers was going to win. I really thought Rutgers was going to win that game, but Nebraska, of course, did not cover the spread on that. I don't know. Nebraska bent me over in the first week of the season when they played in London, or they played in Dublin against Northwestern, and they lost that game. Houston, Memphis, I think Luce lost money on that. He was all about Memphis. I don't follow too much second tier stuff. CSU, Nevada, who cares? This is a game I wish I'd bet. San Jose State University against UNLV. Please make a notation for San Jose State University, okay? UNLV had been 4-1 to 3-1 coming in. They had not been a lousy team. But I'm telling you, when I saw San Jose State take on Central Michigan, I think that's who they played, and did a number on Central Michigan. Circle San Jose State University. I believe going forward that you're going to be able to make money on them. Next code, etc. That's right. I'm like the Swami here. Circle that one. Put down San Jose State University. They were a 7.5 point favorite and they won by 33 points. Either UNLV is not as good as advertised, or San Jose State is flying under the radar. So you best believe I'm circling that. Texas and Oklahoma. Yeah, I did. I picked the Giants. Yeah. I'm not. I don't know. I can't just rise up to the Packers. I mean, it pisses off a lot of people in Wisconsin, but you miss a step. Are the Packers going to win games this year? Of course they are. Okay, but the Giants are kind of rounding into form here. All right, let's go on here. We got a lot of shit to talk about. Oklahoma, stick a fork in them, man. All right, please. I mean, you might get some value on Oklahoma. God, I don't even know what the hell to tell you. Louisville took care of Virginia. Louisville embarrassed themselves this year. The expectations for Malik Cunningham and the Louisville team, and I lost money on them on the Florida State game. Okay, I had Louisville -2.5, whatever. Florida State won. But I'm not going to write off Louisville. Because although I think that they're kind of doomed in terms of being a ranked team this year, you can still make money on this team. This quarterback is a great quarterback. Okay. The problem is the defense has been shaky, but this game against Virginia, I mean, Virginia's not as bad as the record would say. I'm making a note of that. Purdue and Maryland, there was a really bad ref call. There was a false start on the offense. It wasn't even called on Purdue. It should, Maryland should have won the game, but it is what it is. Okay. They should have won in Michigan. They're the best 4-2 team in the world right now. Okay. I lost on that because we had the under 60 and the fucking thing came in right on 60 points. Okay. You don't get paid off on that. All right. Because this prick had to go at the last minute and just score a last minute touchdown. Missouri, Florida, I don't know. Florida they had a good run in the early part of the year. Mississippi State, circle your cards, guys. Circle your cards for Mississippi State. Took an Arkansas team that stood up against Alabama for 3 quarters until they pissed the game away in the 4th quarter. And the running back from Alabama was running all over their ass. 2 70-yard runs or something. Circle Mississippi State. All right. If you see them, decent line, decent game. I wouldn't hesitate. They were an 8-point favorite on that, and they won by 23 points. Please make a note of Mississippi State. Okay, Tennessee and LSU. Tennessee, I'm riding with Tennessee. And they're making me money week after week, man. I love Tennessee. Hendon Hooker, to me, should be a front runner for the Heisman Trophy winner. Flying a little bit under the radar still. He was so impressive in that LSU. Oh, you're going to get your ass kicked, right? I mean, you're coming into LSU country. Meow, Tigers are going to rip you a new asshole. I mean, I got so tired of hearing that. People writing me Gmails, you asshole, I can't believe you bet on Tennessee going in to play LSU. I'm like, dude, Tennessee's now 5-0, and all I hear from you is crickets. Okay. I'm going to back Tennessee through the gates of hell. If that leads through Alabama, it leads through Alabama. If that leads through Georgia, it leads through Georgia. I don't give a shit where it goes through. I'm on the Tennessee Volunteers train because that defense is underrated and it busts people up. I had an argument on a sports show with a guy, one of these big name wager talk or something like that. And I'm in the side chat, and the guy calls me out, and you know, we're arguing about shit about Tennessee, and he tells me I'm full of crap, and he was talking about the Pittsburgh Tennessee game, the second game of the season. And he's like, Tennessee looked so bad in that game. And I'm typing on the side chat as fast as I can. Dude, you're full of shit, right? They were carrying Pittsburgh players, offensive players, off the field injured the whole half of the second half. They put the quarterback out. Half the offensive line, the guys are leaving the game. This Tennessee team is hard hitting, and if you ask anybody, ask Coach Saban, ask that slob that coaches Georgia, I can't remember his name right now, ask that guy who, ask those two coaches who they most fear playing coming up. It ain't going to be each other. Once I was on old Rocky Top down in the Tennessee hills. They're coming for you. I love it, man. I'm riding Tennessee through the gates of hell. And if I lose my money on the back, so what? Okay. I'm going to get a great line. Aren't I Queenstown, kid? I'm always going to have the points on my side. I'm never going to go in as the favorite on either of those two games. And let's set the table, okay? All right. LSU, I don't know. I mean, go play Georgia or something, right? Michigan and Indiana. God, Indiana was like tied 10-10 in here. Michigan is the most overrated top 5 team in football. Now, why do I say that? Because the only team that really gave them a game was Maryland, and because Maryland's punt receiver, the ball hit his helmet, and Michigan scores from the 4-yard line. Given a rematch of that game again, I think Maryland could win. They were up in the big house, okay? Now, you look at Michigan just struggling with Indiana in Indiana. You tell me that they're going to be able to stand up against Tennessee? Yeah, they're going to have a really tough time, JR. And they ain't going to get a national championship. Sorry, Harbaugh. You're going to have to grab your nuts, figure out something for next year, because I'm no J.J. McCarthy fan, the quarterback up there. I mean, I like the program. I admire they're the biggest college football program in America, the biggest stadium, the big house. But at the end of the day, has anybody, Ward, have you been super impressed with Michigan? It's the most underwhelming top 4 team. You beat Indiana 31-10, and I'm supposed to, right? Ooh, you guys are great. Is it just me? I mean, am I missing something here, Ward? I mean, you watch this shit. I mean, talk to me. TCU and Kansas. TCU is an undefeated team. Of every team, there's 3 teams I've seen this year. that there's absolutely no give in their game whatsoever. In other words, there's no lumpiness. They're just persistency. If there was a way that you could capture on a spreadsheet when I do my modeling and things that I do, yeah, how you doing, Blue Jeans? When I do my modeling and things, I think of a way that I can capture something called persistency. Does this team have a bad quarter? Does this team have a bad game? Do they have a bad decision that the coach made? Or is it just a string of consistently good decisions? Excellent coaching. Excellent, no penalties. No penalties. I remember the Tennessee Pitt game. The Tennessee guys were hanging all over the Pittsburgh guys. If they could have just stayed away from the 3 or 4 50-yard penalties for defensive pass interference, they should have beaten the shit out of Pittsburgh. Guess what? They grabbed their nuts, they came back in, and they reduced the penalties dramatically. They learned how to cover a wide receiver or a scampering tight end without, under the armpit, right, without blowing the whole deal. TCU. You see this team get any penalties? I don't know if the coach tells them God's going to strike you dead if you you ain't going to heaven if you commit a I don't know. Tennessee. The penalties they vanished. No lumpiness in their program. And the one that's really flying under the radar that's made me a lot of money, James Madison University. No penalties. Just solid football that just has them on a plane like this. I'm just still kick myself in the ass that I didn't do my research better on them at the beginning of the year, because it really cost me in the App State game. Okay, Buffalo, BGS, who cares, man? Akron. This is going to be an important one. Akron, USF, and Cincinnati. I was surprised Cincinnati. I mean, sometimes a team, Cincinnati's 5-1. And they're, all of a sudden they're struggling with, USF, which is like one of the 5 worst teams in the country. This should scare you. This should surprise you sometimes. They won by 4 points. They were favored by 29.5 points. They were favored by 29.5 points. How did the wheels come off of this card? And they were playing at home. I mean, shit. The fans in the stands were like this. Holy shit. Did Alabama just come to town? Utah and UCLA. I was surprised UCLA must have stormed back. They lost by 10 points. I've hated UCLA. I got in a big fight with when UCLA played the Washington Huskies with Pocket Change. Hi, Pocket Change. I know you're watching out there. And UCLA is, real deal. I think they could give USC a run for their money. I think this team should be probably ranked in the top 15. This is a really good program. I think Utah is. They had a couple big games, and Tulsa Navy's really improving. Keep an eye on Navy. Circle your card for Navy, and Kent State. Miami, Ohio. I'll get no thoughts on that. I already talked about Georgia and Auburn. Man, why let Robbie Ashford embarrass himself out there for Auburn? That offensive line did nothing to help the running game, and this kid was so shattered. This kid had one great play where he backed up the pass. There was nothing downfield. He saw a big seam open up on the right side. He takes off. He's got the ball. He's running. He drops the fucking ball. Nobody's near him. Nobody's 20 yards near him. And he drops the ball. And of course, Georgia recovers it. And this kid's on the sideline. He's taking his helmet. He's smashing it. It's like, dude. And it was over at that point. Okay. It's just, Auburn doesn't have, it's not the coach's fault. The coach is going to get fired. Why? Well, they're probably not going to, because of the big payrolls in the big paychecks in the SEC. But it's not the coach can't be the quarterback in the game. The coach can't be the offensive line. You better be a better recruiter out there. Oh well, Rosie, I can't recruit. I'm against Alabama, and now I got Tennessee on my ass, and it's Georgia. How am I going to recruit? Well, grab your nuts and get out there and figure it out. Oh, man, Virginia Tech and Pitt. I don't care about Pitt. Okay. Wisconsin finally stepped up and won. Northwestern, I got nothing. Toledo. Here's another one I want to circle your card. Toledo was a 5.5-point favorite playing Northern Illinois University. They won by 20 points, 52-32. Okay. Toledo, I believe, is playing Akron. The Toledo Rockets are playing the Akron Zips coming up. I'm begging you guys to bet. Go watch some of the highlight reel. Watch the game reels of the Toledo Rockets team. This kid who's the quarterback for Toledo, I can't think of this prick's name right now. This kid is amazing. This kid can, this kid can pull a rabbit out of his ass anytime he wants. Now, they're not going to go to the championship game. Okay? It ain't going to happen. But what I'm saying, for a team that you could potentially make money on betting, this team's going to cover the spread for you. All right? I feel like it's one of those circle the card teams that's going to cover the spread. Okay? Ball State, Central Michigan University, fuck CMU. They pissed it. What the hell happened to this team? I don't know. Liberty in Massachusetts, who cares? Ohio State and Michigan State University, 49-20. Ohio State has been pretty good. It's been pretty good, right? They're not my favorite team, but they're a solid team. Mississippi and Ole Miss and Vanderbilt. People like to hate Ole Miss. Until proven otherwise, quality team. But I think Tennessee could beat them. I think TCU could beat them. And I think James Madison could give them a hell of a run for their money. Okay? Duke. I'm not going to worry about the lousy overtime rules that killed Duke's chances. They came back and tied it with 8 seconds to go against Georgia Tech. And the stupid overtime rules, they lose 23-20. This is a very young program, Duke. This is a true sophomore, not one of these 42-year-old redshirt seniors that's been playing for 16 years. For Georgia, like Stetson Bennett, like 25 years old next week. Jesus, dude. Get a fucking job. All right. This Kevin Leonard, this kid can chuck the tater. Mike Elko is a hell of a coach down there for Duke. Circle your cards. Duke is a money maker. Okay, Georgia Tech's power ratings just came way up. before this game. I was only at 2.5 points. I bet at 2.5 points. It closed at 3.5. It was a good game. But had they played a full 15-minute period, I feel confident Duke would have won the game. But because of the stupid overtime rules in college football, which are ridiculous, it is what it is. Washington, Arizona State University. I guess Washington Huskies are worse than I thought. I'm flushing the toilet. All right, Western Kentucky University and University of Texas San Antonio. I want to talk about this game. I know UNC beat Miami. Okay, they might be a little under the radar team, but I want to tell you something. Here's a case: you had two teams that were meeting. That's the over was 70.5 points on this. Let me just give you something I've noticed in my spreadsheet analysis. When it comes to modeling games, a lot of people think, and the bookmakers salivate, when you get two very high power offenses together, like Western Kentucky, who put up 70 points in a game earlier in the year, and University of Texas San Antonio with 45, 50 points in a game. You put these two teams together, and the bookmakers 70.5 points in total. From my observation in my work, some strange dynamic happens when you get two very high-powered offenses and relatively weak defenses together. What's going to happen is that the defenses rise a little bit to the occasion on both sides, and the scores don't. The scores tend to go under. And this one ended at 59, not 70.5. Okay. Still a high scoring game. Not crazy high. But we had the under on that. All right, because my work shows that no, it's not going to go over those type of games. Wyoming, I don't care. Connecticut, Florida International University, who cares? Texas State and App State. App State, stick a fork in that. James Madison did a number on Arkansas State down there. Air Force, Troy continues to do well. Continue to mark your cards with Troy because they're a well-coached program and they're doing well. I've made money on them 2 times already this year. Okay, Clemson is great, no problem at all. Wake took care of Army, big deal, no surprise. Notre Dame took care of BYU. Illinois and Iowa 9-6. What was I thinking when I took the over 34? I mean, what the hell did I smoke? 9-6. I thought it was the score like the Blue Jays game. I thought, how'd that get on there? But please, guys, don't consider this clown game. You should take your pen and you should circle Illinois. Because Illinois is the cock of the walk up there right now. All right, and just because Iowa has a stellar defense, which they do, look at the way Iowa played against Michigan, okay? Iowa has a great defense. Good night, EJ. Just be aware, Illinois still has a long way to go. They're 5-1, and they continue to. The only game they lost was to Indiana, where they were getting their shit together in the beginning of the year. KSU, I don't give a shit about that. NC State beat Florida State. They're going to figure in this week NC State and what we're going to do. And I think that's about it. Oregon took care of Arizona. I got to respect the Oregon program. I don't like Bo Nix. Something about that kid rubs me the wrong way. His smirk or something. But I've got to... I got to give credit where credit's due. I think they should be an 11th ranked team. I think that they got the ability to go pretty far. Oregon State is a great team, as is Washington State, even though they lost. So that's some of my thoughts on things. Some of the things to circle here. Another week. I was 5-6 with one push on the week this week. So now 29-18, which is still pretty damn good. On the year, I'm excited about what's coming up on the card this week. So Wednesday night, we'll talk about that and get some predictions out, what the matchups look like for coming up for college football. It's getting exciting, guys. It's getting cold. We're going to have to start factoring weather in soon. The old tater gets a little heavy, right? When it's 15 degrees and a 40-mile-an-hour wind, it becomes a hell of a different game than it is on paper, okay? We got to start taking weather into account. We got to start taking, of course, schedule into account. We got to continue to look at injuries. We got to look at coaching changes that are coming in. There's still a lot of, they're pulling the trigger. People are hitting the transfer portal, okay? They're bailing out, right, and stuff like that. So we got to kind of keep an eye on that stuff. So I'm going to close it out now. For those of you who watch on the after chat, please hit the subscribe button. The first and only trans football and sports analyst on here. Glad to come on and break new ground in the trans community, as I always have. Everybody's equal in my mind. Nothing special for me or anybody else. Just proud to be an American, to be able to play, to be able to put my bets down on football and enjoy life. We got basketball season coming up too, and hockey. Boom! Lots of good stuff coming. Hit that bell for all notifications. We will see you. Thank you, Queenstown kids. Please make note of those 5 or 6 teams. Every year you need 5 or 6 teams that are not lumpy. Your aces in the hole when it comes to betting, that you know damn well those coaches, those players will go to the last bit of their gut to win that game, whatever the hell it takes. That's college football, my friends. That is football in general. Grab your nuts. We'll see you Wednesday night. Thumbs up are appreciated. And thanks so much for being along, everybody.